The fundamentals of planning legally for your later in life years involve a financial power of attorney, planning for incapacity, an advanced healthcare directive, so a healthcare power of attorney and living will, and finally, your last will and testament, your will. So those are the three fundamentals. But people often come to me and say, I hear from a friend that I need a trust. Do I need a trust? My name is Patrick Cawley. I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney with Keystone Elder Law in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and I wanted to go over this very common issue because you probably could benefit from a trust, but there's probably over 100 kinds of trusts. So what do you need a trust for, and how would you build that trust? Is it something that exists now? Is it something that will come into existence in the future? So here are some of the basic reasons why people have a trust. Number one, it could simply be because maybe there's a remarriage situation either already or they think about remarriage in the future. If you were to pass away and you have children with your current spouse, if your spouse remarries, will your children be taken care of by this stranger who your spouse will get remarried to, especially if your spouse remarries and then dies? How do you take care of your children, make sure that they will always be provided for? Yes, that's one reason why people have a trust, and that's something that you would have to set up during your life. So it's a living trust as opposed to a testamentary trust built into your will. So that's a trust that could serve one function for protecting your family. Another one might be that you have a vulnerable family member. So you have a minor child. Well, at the very least, you want some provision in your will creating a trust for any money or property going to a minor child when you die, so that you're not just handing a lump sum of money to somebody who's not responsible enough to handle that money. But more importantly, what if there's a child who has special needs or a disability of some kind? And keep in mind, you might not know about the disability yet. It might be as the result of a car crash in the future. But if you already know of a diagnosis that is going to lead to long-term disability or special needs, having a trust is probably going to be very crucial to sustaining that child for decades. That can be done either way. You can either set that up during your life, or it can be something that's set up in your will. It can be, if it's set up during your life, it can be revocable or it can be irrevocable depending on some circumstances. So that's another very important reason, because you'd never want to just leave money outright or give money outright during your life to someone with a disability. If they're on Social Security disability, if they're on SSI or Medicaid, that could have an impact on the benefits that they receive. So you want to be very careful about that. The most important reasons why you might want a trust and need a trust has to do with protecting against the cost of long-term care. So if you Google trust versus will, you will see page after page of articles about avoiding probate. Yes, probate, I suppose it's quicker to avoid probate because it takes in Pennsylvania at least a year, because there are certain deadlines and filings that have to be made. It's a court supervised process. Accounts are frozen. So if you want quick access or a seamless transition of property right away to your children, probate will slow that down. I will tell you that the fees and the time period associated with probate in Pennsylvania are pretty reasonable compared to some other states like Florida or California, where everybody has a trust to avoid probate. But let me tell you the more important reason to avoid probate. Probate is where, if you've been on any sort of long-term care benefits like Medicaid to pay for nursing care at the end of your life, that's where the Medicaid agency shows up and says, we're going to get paid back for all that care. And it might be a couple $100,000. So if they see a house that's in your estate going through probate, they're going to force the sale of the house and get paid back. So putting the house into a trust well in advance of needing long-term care is one of the staples of elder law. It's how you preserve such an enormous asset for your family, either the house itself or the proceeds of the sale, because it won't go through probate where Medicaid shows up to get paid back for the care that you received. So that's a huge one for why you might need a trust. That's a trust you would set up not only while you're alive and not rely on a trust built into your will, but it has to be set up at least 5 years before you apply for Medicaid because of the way the Medicaid rules work. If you have questions about this, please reach out to me, info at KeystoneElderLaw.com. My name is Patrick Cawley. I'd be happy to speak with you about your particular circumstances and see what kind of a trust would help you.